buenos dias. ¿Cómo está? This is Kaipacha with the weekly Pele Banana Report. Here we are. Beautiful day, beautiful day, beautiful day. February 24th of 2016. That moon just hit Virgo, Jupiter and Virgo, north node of the moon. Her own node. Yeah, connecting the past with the future. That was yesterday on Tuesday. Now she's going to be moving into Libra for a few days, staying there until Saturday. She goes into Scorpio. And from Scorpio, she trines that sun that is, is now in Pisces. And that sun is moving along, creeping along. Scorpio and Pisces are both water signs. I'm going to be talking a lot about Pisces today. And of course, Mars is still in Scorpio. She's going to come up and hit Mars as she moves through Scorpio. Yeah. From Saturday, Sunday. This is a Scorpio weekend. Moon in Scorpio, Saturday and Sunday. Monday, she goes into Sagittarius. And we come up with a third quarter square moon. 90-degree aspect. We had that full moon and she is now waning, coming back around. After that fullness of being, okay, after that fullness, there's always the waning, waning, waning. Big thing I want to talk to you today about is, of course, the sun as he moves, as it moves into Pisces, coming up to Neptune. Coming up to Neptune, we're going to have a Sun-Neptune conjunction on Sunday, but it's really there now. And, Mercury's moving through Aquarius. It's going to be sextiling Saturn on Thursday, sextiling Uranus on Friday. But, Venus and Mercury are both going to be joining that sun in Pisces. It's going to be a real Pisces time. Mercury's going to go into Pisces March 5th. Venus is going to go in on the 12th. And we're going to have a total solar eclipse in Pisces on March 8th. So we're looking at a time here with the Sun, Mercury, Venus, south node of the moon, Chiron, and Neptune all in the sign of Pisces. So today's report is going to be for all of you Pisces. And of course, not for all of you Pisces, but for all of you Virgos and Sagittarius and Gemini, because these are the mutable signs, and that is the mutable cross, that Pisces deals with. And we're going to be talking about that mutable cross. So let me just stand maybe like right there. Wow. Having trouble with the Pele report today. Because I want it to be perfect. And doggone it, this is Virgo. This is, we have Jupiter exactly opposite Chiron right now. I don't know if I mentioned that. And they go very slowly. So this is like going on for, weeks. Jupiter exactly opposite Chiron. And they are, joining together with the nodes of the moon. And then on March 8th, the sun is going to come around and join them, for this, total solar eclipse on the south node of the moon. The sun conjunct Chiron, opposite Jupiter and the north node. I mean, we're looking now. I mean, this is big time. The eclipse sets the tone, for the next 6 months. So I'll talk more about that. That's, it's less than 2 weeks away, but it is coming. And it has to do with this whole theme that I've been talking about here. As the moon's nodes spend a year and a half in a sign, this is going on with Pisces Virgo for a long period of time. And those of you that have been listening to the report for a while know that I've been referring to this year of 2016 as the year of the Great Purification. The Great Purification. And we know that it has to do with this Virgo-Pisces axis. And the Virgo-Pisces axis is health. Health. Physical health. Pisces is the immune system. Neptune has to do with the immune system. Our boundaries. Yes, between this and other worlds, between ourself and other people. So, between, I think of the Zika you know, the Zika virus going around now. You know, this is a perfect health crisis. You know, Obama just asked for, you know, a couple billion or something to deal with this. It's spreading. Okay, it's here in Costa Rica. It's all over the place. This is just like, you know, one little example. Okay, this is like this Virgo thing where it's like raising consciousness around our environment, around our bodies, okay, around, you know, what is real, the reality. Virgo is reality. This reality, it's an earth sign. And we're coming out of the south node of the moon is the past. And Chiron is healing. And I've talked about this year of purification. Well, Virgo has to do with discrimination and discernment. So what we have to do is we have to really understand that this time period, while the nodes are here with the eclipses going on, particularly now, Sun conjunct Neptune, just let's look at the past of Pisces. Pisces is infinite oneness. Union with the source of all creation. Jeffrey Wolf Green, Evolutionary Astrology, like, you know, the very beginning, the essential, okay, is that the soul has two coexisting desires. The desire to return to the source that created it, and the desire to separate from the source that created it. So every desire that we have, every fantasy that we have, every goal that we set, every relationship we initiate, these are all coming out of one of two places. We either want to return to oneness, love, unity, consciousness, or we want to individualize and separate and, you know, get into our own creative potential. And these just go up and down and in and out and back and forth. But Pisces wants to remove all separation. So all separating desires and return to oneness. This is the fantasy, this is the dream of infinite love and union. Yoga means union, yes, meditation and enlightenment and opening the heart for love and union. Oh yeah. It's the romantic, it's the dreamer. It's the musician, the artist, the poet that, you know, that feels this unity of all creation. Absolutely beautiful. And what does that involve? And Mars over in Scorpio is also telling us, what does that involve? Letting go of control, letting go of the ego that lives in separation. This is my money, this is my house, this is my partner, this is my, me, my, me, my, me, my. So it's a loss of control, it's a surrendering of ego to fully experience love, orgasm, you know, union, ecstasy, nirvana. There's no ego in nirvana. This is a place, you know, where we shed, like the snake shedding its skin, all those separating desires. Now Chiron's moving through there, okay, from 2011 to 2018. 7-8 years of Chiron. The wounded healer, wanting to heal this wound. And what's the wound? The wound is separation from unity, alienation from my reality. I am not just an earthling. I'm not just this body. I'm not just this, you know, this relationship, this house, this job. We can, you know, there's these points where we can feel very distant from the lives we are leading. And this is one of those times. It's like, is this real? You know, is what I'm living a true expression, you know, of my core being? Or is this an illusion, Maya, fantasy? And so then we have what? We have fantasies that come up. Pisces in the 12th house and Neptune deal with the collective unconscious. And let's look at fantasies and dreams, because they come from lots of different places. Yes? There's the collective unconscious. When you get a fantasy, let's take an example. You know, I mean, Mars is in Scorpio. Let's deal with, you know, sexual fantasies. Okay, you can have this sexual fantasy, okay, of group sex, yeah, multiple people having sex together. I have this fantasy. Now, where does this fantasy come from? There's a number of different places. It can be a collective unconscious. This is like we are all connected on one level of oneness and unity to what's existing on planet Earth right now. And we can be intercepting, you know, with our high antennas, a collective desire, a collective fantasy. That's one place. Then we get into the personal unconscious. The personal unconscious is all of our previous lifetimes. Guess what? Maybe you already had group sex in a previous lifetime. and it's a memory of what like already happened. Already been there, done that. It's, you know, it's just like, and so, you know, the fantasy could be coming from there. Where else? Mom and dad, the family. Yes, what comes down through the hereditary stream? What, you know, maybe you saw in childhood, you know, before you had a, you know, your ego fully intact. You know, things that, you know, just came down through the pipeline of DNA. Yeah, mom's fantasy, dad's fantasy, whatever, somebody else's fantasies. So, you know, we have all these different places is what I'm saying. And then of course the future. The future can be calling you forward and saying, you know what, this is, you know, this lies ahead of you. This is, you know, this is your, you know, your intention is to learn something new about yourself, about your sexuality, about your relationships, about the masculine and feminine, you know, through this, you know, through this fantasy. So what I'm saying is, this is a time now, this is Pisces, it's like all this mishmash, you know, whirlpools of fantasies and imaginations and dreams. And we got to say that so many of those, like I said, have to do with a loss of control. So there, you know, it's also the south node of the moon is past lifetimes. And what we can say is there will ultimately have been, you know, and we can be dealing with the fear of losing control, the fear of losing our ego, okay, to merge with the oneness can lead to resistance. So there has been in all of us a resistance to that final frontier of total surrender to love or total surrender to life. And that's what we are healing now. This is what Chiron moving through Pisces. We got these 7 years, 8 years going on here of healing this wound of separation that leads to this, you know, these feelings of alienation, these feelings of things are not right. If only life was this way or that way or the other way, leads to a lot of doubt, questioning, and confusion. Pisces has to do with doubt, questioning, and confusion, because we're dealing with all these fantasies, and some of these fantasies and desires and dreams come into reality, and some of them don't. And so then we come into these, you know, situations. Why? Why did this fantasy, why did this dream, you know, why did I realize this dream and that dream I didn't realize? And this creates contemplation, this creates evolution, this creates deeper understanding. Jeffrey Green says, you know, there's probably 3 reasons why. Number 1 is that, you know what, just fantasizing it, you went through all of the emotions, the needs, the feelings, the experience, the learning. It all happened in the fantasy. So it doesn't have to materialize. That's one reason. Yeah. The second reason is that fantasy, maybe it didn't manifest or realize because it's not in alignment with the higher will or the source of all creation, and you were kind of off on a jet stream that, you know, was, you know, taking you south instead of your soul journey, which is north. And so it didn't manifest because it was not in this alignment with higher will, higher destiny. Yeah? And the third reason why some of these fantasies or desires don't come, you know, into manifest creation, yeah, is because there is a deep inner side of ourselves that is using these fantasies, how can I say? Out of that, it's the fantasy is a result of alienation. I feel alienated from my environment, my reality. This is not my truth. I'm not living my truth. I'm not living my core beliefs or my core expression. I'm living other people's needs, wants, desires, fears. And through that alienation process, I am using the fantasy to escape and go off. It's in the form of an addiction. And it leads to, and you become susceptible to addictive forms of behavior. Addictions, sexual addictions, substance addictions, others, all kinds of, movies. It can be screen. I just call it the screen addiction. If it's not the phone or the pad or the computer, there's always a screen. We can be addicted to the screen these days. Oh my God. And so there has to be like this, before the reality can actually manifest, there has to be the removal of all the addictions. Yeah? And cutting those addictions and really coming more into what? This is the North Node conjunct Jupiter in Virgo, which is here now, reality, effort, work, service, coming into, yes, really, this world, out of the multi-dimensional potential into choice, and discerning and discriminating and weeding through all the different desires, fantasies, motivations, and going into and devoting the self to particular, actions that are going to lead to results. So this is this time period now. This is what the purification, it's the purification of desire. It's the purification of the inner world. It's purifying my intentions. Out of all the existing possibilities, this is what I choose. Virgo says this is what is the best expression of me now, in this moment. And so the confusion, yes, disperses as the choices are made and acted upon. And then, of course, we come into the T-square with Saturn in Sagittarius, which is what are the philosophies, the morals, the ethics. It's really what kind of character do I want to embody? And all I can say is this is a really important time to be doing things that make you feel good about yourself. And sometimes that is pleasurable and feeling good, and sometimes it's not. But I feel good about myself when I discipline myself. I feel good about myself when I exercise control. I feel good about myself when I'm in integrity and I say those confrontational words, that set a clear boundary of who I am and who I am not. I feel good in the long run. These are, and it's just like this period. I really encourage you, there can, we can also act on some of these fantasies that, take us out or take us away or make us feel good, or just like, because we're not feeling good. Our lives are not feeling good. So it's like, no, give me some stimulation, to make me feel good emotionally, mentally, physically, sexually, whatever. It's like, give me more, give me more, give me more, because I feel so empty and alienated and isolated, and I have this longing. So we seek to fill this longing in many different ways, but what I'm saying is sometimes that can be this escapism. It's like taking the back door out, when in reality we incarnated into these bodies, to go, and open the front door and let it in. Ah! I don't know if any of this makes sense, man. Woo! give it a shot, meditate on it. Oh, I got the mantras. I kind of distilled it down, yeah, into may I know what appears, no, may I know the source of what appears within my mind, and only act upon that which my heart and soul align. May I know the source of what appears within my mind, and only act upon that which my heart and soul align. It just kind of sums it all up, what I was saying. It's like our desires, our fantasies, our dreams come from lots of different places. It's good to meditate these days. You know, it's good to be still. It's good to go into your breath and use all these different spiritual techniques to identify and discriminate where is the source of that. Is it in a desire for separation, or is it truly a desire for union with the source of all creation, the ultimate source? So find the source of your fantasies, dreams, wishes, and hopes. And then, when you see where they're coming from, then check in with the heart and the soul and say, is this where I want my future to go? Is this the highest expression, yeah, of, you know, of my truth, of, you know, my highest vibration? So it's like, this is coming from Pisces, infinite potential, into Virgo, acting upon and accomplishing. This is a great time for accomplishing great deeds that are in alignment with your soul vibration. May you expand, expound, explode within the mysteries and joy of life in this here reality. Namaste. Aloha. So much love.